This morning, we're going to go over 7 reasons why you must stop worrying and why it's totally garbage. And additionally, we're going to go over 5 strategies on how to apply this to make a difference for ourselves. Enjoy the show this morning. Cheers, friends. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercise to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. This is episode 340. Geez, rolling, stacking them up. And this morning, we're going to be talking about worrying and why I believe it's absolutely garbage. And I think we're past the point. There's a lot of arguments that it's really good for survival and it's this and it's that. But I believe it's gotten so excessive, and we live in a society where people are driven mad from anxiety. And I believe the bulk of this is from worrying about the future. So we're going to really try and help with that a little bit this morning. So if you are a worrier, then this episode is for you. Or if you know someone who worries quite a bit, please make sure to share this show episode with them, because we're really trying to help people start their mornings off right, start their days off right, and go crush it out of the park so they can achieve their goals and help other people along the way. So, okay, without further ado, we're going to start with going over the 7. I came up with 7 reasons why I believe. Sorry, I'm kind of just finishing up putting some notes in here. 7 reasons why I believe you must stop worrying. Tip number 1. So let's go ahead and get to the board. Let's get to the chalkboard. How's everyone doing this morning? Doing good. Today we're going to be talking about worry. I worry about this. I worry about that. Sorry, I'm getting a potential spam call. So we're going to be talking about worry, and then we're going to have the 7. These are the 7 reasons why you must stop. So 7 reasons. Stop. We'll put that over here. And then over here will be strategies. So we'll have our strategies over on this side, and we'll come to this in a little bit and after we get going with the show. Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing this morning? Hopefully starting off right. Maybe get your coffee. Maybe just enjoying the show. So the first reason we have under here for reasons to stop worrying is number 1. Oh, my thing is freezing up a little bit. That's okay. Negative impact on mental health. So we have mental health. So when you are worrying about something, it is literally consuming your mind. Think for just a second the reality behind, we can only really process one thought at a time. I want you to try and have 2 thoughts right here, right now. Can you have 2 thoughts, 2 different thoughts going on at the same time? I know a lot of people claim to be multitaskers, but when you are worried about one thing, this is actually a negative emotion. It causes anxiety more than anything. And when you're having this one thought, where is your mental health state at? Is it helping you or is it hurting you? This is the ultimate question that we want to refer to and talk about. So the first reason to stop worrying, it's a negative impact on our mental health. So we had here number 2. Second reason, physical health consequences. Physical health. So we have physical health. When it's insane to me how when we can be talking about things or worrying about something and it causes so much stress in our body, it literally causes pain. It causes us to shut down. I had some nice extra notes on here that we were talking about with setting up the physical. Chronic worry can manifest in physical symptoms such as headaches, stomach aches, muscle tension, sleep deprivation. Prolonged stress from worrying can weaken the immune system and increase the risk of cardiovascular problems. Like, there is a long list that is proven and backed by science. When people are chronic worriers, they get sick more often. They feel more beat up. They get the headaches, the stomach aches, and all of these negative physical health consequences. So another reason for us to stop worrying. Okay. On to point number 3. Reduced quality of life. Reduced quality of life. Literally reducing the quality of our life. If I were to tell you, do you think that you're reducing the quality of your life by worrying a lot? You'd probably say, yeah, worrying about this, thinking about this. Yeah, it's probably got me hyped up and making me feel bad about myself. It's beating me up. So just recognizing and giving the awareness that it is indeed reducing the quality of our life. And in the strategy section, we're going to be doing some challenging on the thoughts and beliefs, but just acknowledge this is another reason why it is reducing the quality of our life. And that is not what we want to do. We're just not here long enough. Humans are not alive long enough. Our next one is impaired decision-making. Impaired decisions. I think in today's day and age, it's getting harder and 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 harder to make a decision. It's a gift if you can make decisions for people, because there's so many options nowadays that the hardest part is being able to make a decision. So if you could improve one thing, just make some more decisions for people, and actually you'll probably get thanked quite a bit, just taking the pressure off of them. Because impaired decisions, when you were worried about this, and a lot of times it's I'm worried that I'm gonna make the wrong choice. I'm worried that I'm gonna make the wrong choice. This classic worried cluster screwed with regret. And it's wild because whenever we do make choices, how many choices do you really regret in your life? I bet if we did this exercise and I said, I'm going to give you $10 for every single thing that you can write down that you regretted in your life, you probably wouldn't have that long of a list. Or I'm willing to bet you wouldn't have as long of a list as you think you might, because when we make the choices, humans have this really good ability to find acceptance in the choices we've made to reduce these regrets. And impaired decision-making comes from we're worried about making the wrong choice. And the worst choice is just not making a choice, or having to put it on other people all the time, or having to do this or having to do that. So impaired, another reason why worrying is absolute garbage is because it impairs our ability to make decisions. People cannot make a decision. Okay. I have to copy a few of these over, folks, so just give me a second. Okay, on to point number 5. That would be limit opportunities. Limit opportunities. I'm just going to put op for short. So limiting opportunities. I was working with a client one time and they wanted to go to this networking event. They wanted to meet more people in their field. They wanted more options, maybe get some potential clients, build out this muscle. But they were so worried on what they were going to say. They were so worried on how they would look. They were so worried about this detail, that detail, and guess what? They ended up not going. Who knows what opportunities they possibly missed? They could have met the one mentor. I remember I took this. It was a coffee meeting at one of the offices at a real estate company I just met with, and I had the opportunity to meet someone who became my mentor in real estate and completely changed the shape of my life. Shout out to Rich. And it's like, if I would have just not taken the opportunity, if I would have worried so much about what other people think, we're going to drop a bomb on the show this morning. People do not care. People do not care. They care, but not really. So say if you're tuning into the show, I want to help as much as I can, but think about what's going on in my head. I'm going over the notes on the show. I'm going over the project that I have to do next. I'm doing something with my girlfriend later. I have to get a workout in. I'm going over to my grandfather's later. I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that. And you're in the same boat. So if we can recognize that we all are busybodies and that worrying, if I were to worry too much about something, then I think it can really limit our opportunities. And when you're building relationships, when you make partnerships in business, say if we were to partner on a deal or something, say if we were to partner and work together, or say if I'm hiring an employee or whatever, if they are worrying about this all the time, worrying about this all the time, worrying about this opportunity, worrying about this, am I really going to want to work with this person? Probably not. So I think it can almost be a deterrence and thus leading us to limiting opportunities. So another reason why to stop worrying, because it might limit your opportunities. Number 6, wasted energy. Wasted energy. Why do you think people are tired all the time? We're so wound up on caffeine and worrying about the future that our energy just depletes by the time we get off work. They're like, I can't do a side hustle. I'm gassed. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. So if we waste all of our energy on just worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying, because the amount of energy that it takes to worry is the same energy needed to, if not probably less, to focus on your project, to take action on it, to get more of it done. So the wasted energy is just kicking ourselves. It's reducing our ability to do what it is that we want to do. Another reason, number 6 on the list of why we need to stop worrying. I want to get this point over here. Okay. Point number 7, self-fulfilling prophecy. The prophecy, go figure, the worrying prophecy. I want to make sure I spelled prophecy right this morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're just now joining us. Hope you're having a great morning. We're talking about why worrying is total garbage and a waste of trash. So prophecy, the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's always amazing to me that people will literally worry themselves into the situation that they're avoiding. Think about it. They worry about this so much and they focus on it so hard, then these things tend to come true. Or really, I'm a big believer on if you focus on anything hard enough, I think it becomes a reality in your situation. You've heard the classic example of, oh, I want to buy this car, and now I'm like looking for this car, and now I see it all over the place because that's what my focus is on, because we talked about, we can only have one thought at a time. But this self-fulfilling prophecy of I'm not good enough, this won't work out, I can't take this risk, I can't leave my job, I can't start my business, I can't I can't put myself out there to do that. I'm not good enough, or this is going on, or that's going on. And it's like this self-defeating prophecy, self-fulfilling prophecy of, and the beautiful thing about this can go one way or the other. Because if you open yourself up and you stop worrying and you start trusting at what's in front of you and the plan that you have, I'm here to say you probably don't need a new plan. Your original plan this year was fine. I've done this millions of times where I'd write out a good plan and then I just would quit, and then I'd come up with some new plan because I was worried it wasn't good enough, quote unquote. What you're doing is good enough, and be very careful of the self-fulfilling prophecy, especially if you're worrying all the time. I think it can lead to something very, very negative. Okay, so now we are on to 5 ways to stop worrying. Okay, copy. I'm going to get some of these notes in so I can. Number 1, mindfulness. Recognizing what it is that we are doing. So for our strategies, our first one is mindfulness. Probably heard this one on the show before. Mindfulness. Just being more present. There's a cool little exercise that I think is really useful. So if you are trying to listen to something, or if you are trying to be more present in the moment, say you're worrying like crazy and you want it to stop. I think if you just try and expand your vision and take more in from your peripheral vision, seeing more on the outsides, see where your attention goes. It does this it does this good job of like pulling you back to what's really in front of you. Maybe you're just being more mindful of what's going on in your body, of what's something that you feel in your hands, getting your senses involved, and addressing and just naming it. So when it comes into your head, you just recognize it, and then you come back to the real experience of what is actually going on right now. Mindfulness, paying attention to your breathing, paying attention to what you see, opening your peripheral vision, using these senses. Mindfulness is a beautiful strategy, and that's why it comes in as our first, most broad one, but that works incredible. Okay. And oh yeah, by the way, folks, if we do not meditate, we cannot be pissed off that we're crazy and that our mind is over here and over here and over here. So make sure we meditate and we're a little more mindful. It's just like working out the muscles. You're not going to have big, strong arms if you don't lift the weights. You're not going to have a sharp, strong mind that can focus for long periods of time and on positive stuff if you don't work out your mind. So make sure you're meditating. Okay, set number 2. Set aside time to plan. Time to plan. This happens all the time with a lot of people who suffer from chronic anxiety. It's like, I need a plan, I need a plan, I need a plan. And they're changing the plan literally a million freaking times when the original plan was totally fine. You understand what you need to do. I think of these examples of like investors. Like they make the original plan. All the money that's made is in the process and in the patience and the waiting game of letting it grow and develop. It's not like rechanging the plan every single time. It's about staying on the course. So setting time, how does this relate to worrying, you might ask? So I believe this relates to worry in the sense that you recognize it when it comes up in your head throughout the day. Say if it's 2:00, I'm worried about little Timmy getting off school. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about my career. I'm worried about my money. I'm worried about my job. I'm worried about my girlfriend, yada, yada, yada. And then you recognize that, oh, I'm worrying again. I'm going to wait. I'm going to set a time aside to do this. I'm going to wait until this evening, and then I'm going to plan. I'm going to get my handy dandy journal out. I'm going to get a notebook. And I'm going to write out the things that I'm worried about. I'm going to write out what I want to do for a to-do list and designated time for it, because you're not alive long enough to spend your just worrying about the same damn thing 2 billion times. You know how much energy that's wasted, how much like the limited opportunities, the mental health, the physical health. Like that's why we need to stop this garbage. And I think we can do it, and it can be really helpful when we set aside a time to plan. You don't need to keep changing your plans every single freaking day. I did that for so long. And it's like, you don't need to change the damn plan. You just need to keep doing the plan that you had, because it works fine. Like all of this stuff works out pretty good. It doesn't even need to be that detailed. But okay. The next up is, this one's a great one. Oh my gosh. Okay, number 3, challenge the benefit. So I want you to write out what worrying is doing for you. What is worrying give you? So we challenge the thought. This is a great exercise. It really helps expand the mind, expands our thinking, but I want you to challenge. The strategy is to challenge what you're worrying about. Is worrying about helping me, or is worrying about it hurting me? I believe wholeheartedly, if you take the time to challenge what you are worried about and recognize it for what it is, you would stop doing. The only reason you do it is because you believe it gives you something. You believe it's going to help you perform better. You believe that it's going to make you a better person. And you believe that it is doing something positive. But we have to challenge that in our own. So you've heard worrying is bad. It's like, oh yeah, worrying's bad. I get it. Yeah, I shouldn't do it as much. But then when it comes to you and your personal situation, you never take the time to sit down and really challenge, why do you believe this? And understand that I do not believe this. And then building up that muscle from, like we talked about with mindfulness and meditation, that's how we build the muscle of the mind. And we challenge these thoughts. We recognize that when they come up, we say, not right now, let it, cars on a highway, the thought comes and then it goes. We let it go and we set a time to plan, to actually set a plan that we're going to stick with and not change 100 freaking times. Okay, so challenge it. Challenge the benefit, because if you believe that it is doing something positive for you, I'm telling you, you will continue to do it. If you believe it is giving you something, then you will continue to do it. And we need to recognize that. Next up, we have a little bit of focus on this one. This is good. So focus on what you can control. Focus on control. Focus on control. So we need to understand that we have no idea where thoughts come from. So you just had probably this random thought. You're talking to your uncle and you had this random thought about a blue frickin' car. Where did that come from in your mind? We have no idea. Humans are crazy. But this focus on control and acknowledging that we can control the thoughts that we manifest. We can control what it is that we continuously think about. We can control and build muscles to help improve our ability to think clearly and to let the worrying go. Let it go, right? It comes in, car on a highway, we let it pass. Boom, the moment's over. We're back here in the present moment. Boom, ready to go, feeling good. And we're avoiding all of this negative stuff that is literally killing human beings every single day. So focus on what you can control. And if you can't control it, what good is it to do to worry about it? We talked about challenging it, challenging that belief that it's doing you something. I hear this a lot. I have a client talking back and forth with, they're always worried about stuff that's going on with their coworkers. And they're like, well, if they don't do this, and then what if they don't do that? And then what if it's like this? And then what if, and I'm like, and we're sitting down, we're like, okay. So what's really going to happen if they don't do this? Or like, what's the worst case scenario, truly? Or this worry of, oh, I can't move. I can't move out of my apartment. Oh, I can't I can't leave this job. I have this going on. And it's like, what is really physically stopping you? And it's probably just fear underneath a bunch of layers, fear and insecurity within ourselves. And that's the stuff that we have to challenge, take time to understand, take time to write out, and then really keep our focus on what it is that we can control and let go of all the other bullshit. You're not strong enough to carry the weight of the world. Nobody is. And that's why, but our framing thinks that we need to be. I need to think not for myself, but everyone around me, and bring it all, put it all on my back, and I'm going to go until my legs shatter and break, and then boom, anxiety attack, panic attack, mental breakdown. I quit my job immediately, and some horrible thing happens in our life. My partner leaves me, and then we have our wake-up call. Let's have our wake-up call now and really focus on the things that we can control. Focus on the few things that you can control. When a thought comes in and you start to worry about something, recognize it, challenge it, and be like, this doesn't really serve me anymore. I'm evolved. I am past this. Poof, let it go. Focus on the things that we can control and stop trying to control other people. It doesn't work. Nobody likes it. And it actually just makes things worse. Okay. On to our last one we have here. And this is kind of a bit of an environment one. So we want to limit exposure to stressors. I want you to just kind of think a little bit, what is making you actually worry? So I believe we can limit exposure to things that cause us to worry. Emotional imbalances. So eating unhealthy food, drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in doing any of these in excess will cause emotional instability. It is science. That's how your brain and body works. We just aren't meant to have these things. It's unfortunate. So if you really do want to stop worrying, I would say give up those things for just 6 weeks. You can do my coaching class. We can go through all of it. We give it up and we kind of just do a cleanse for a little while, rewire our thinking, challenge all of these, reset, and then we limit the exposure of the things that cause these. Maybe it's a certain type of work environment. Maybe it's a particular type of relationship. Maybe it's a substance. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. We're going to have to play trial and error to it because it will be unique to you. Your stressors will be unique to you. But it's this life has this funny way of being surprised. So, for example, me talking to somebody recently, and they're like, I'm worrying all the time. And I don't know what to do. And I can't stop. And I was just asking them, how much alcohol do you drink in a week? They're like, well, like 4 times a week. I'm like, well, maybe you could quit doing that and then just see if that helps. And like, whoa. I can't do that. Absolutely not. So it just, if you're not willing to make changes, don't expect things to change. If you stay the same, then you will stay the same. Go figure, right? So if you want things to change for you, you will have to change. I think acceptance on that can really help us embrace these strategies and then help reduce a lot of this worrying bullcrap. I went way over on time this morning and I have a really busy day, so I need to get out of here, but it's been a really fun morning episode. As you can tell, I really care about worrying, and I believe it is really hurting people. So quick run through of the 7 reasons why you must stop worrying. 1, negative impact on your mental health. It's physical health consequences, reduces the quality of your life. It impairs your decision-making, limits opportunities, waste your energy. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It kind of keeps feeding itself and giving you more and more anxiety. And then additionally, these were 5 ways to stop worrying. So these are strategies that we hopefully can implement to help reduce worrying. We're never going to run a marathon in 0 minutes and 0 seconds. I'm going to say it a million more times, but I believe we can greatly reduce the amount that we suffer with mindfulness, taking the time. Please meditate, just do it. It's just like working out. They tell you to work out your muscles, work out your mind, read good books, meditate. Shit's amazing for you. Set aside time to plan. If you have a worrying thought come up, recognize I'm not doing this right now. I'm not doing this right now. Just like if you're a health nut, you're not going to just drink a random soda in the middle of the day, even though it's sitting right in front of you. No, not right now. If you can say no to other things, you can say no to this. You can. Cars on a highway. It comes in, let that shit go. Challenge the benefit. Really sit down and write and be like, what is worrying even doing for me? Challenge it. Challenge. Because if you believe it's giving you something, it's going to keep happening. Trust me. Next, focus on what you can control. You can control your thoughts. You can control like the things that you let manifest in your mind. You can control like how you react to it going forward. So focus on what you can control and stop trying to control or please people that stuff doesn't work. And then limit exposure to stressors. There's certain things we put in our bodies that cause chemical reactions. And I believe that worrying is a big part of this from people who do a lot of unhealthy eating, who smoke a lot of marijuana, or who drink a lot of alcohol. I believe those are the biggest 3 that I've seen that really influence emotional health and anxiety. So you could work on those and see if that's helpful for you. I know this is what helped me. So that's just what I want to express back to you. All right, friends, this was why worrying in life is useless garbage. And hopefully you can worry a little bit less. Share this video with somebody if you think they could get benefit. I know there's a lot of worriers in the world, and I'm still one of them. I'm reducing it. It's not perfect, never going to be perfect, and that's okay because I genuinely believe I'm getting better at it, and hopefully you can too. In case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got it today. Let's get stuff done and worry a little bit less. I'll see you guys all on the next episode, bright and early, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with another episode of the Talk Terror Morning Show. Cheers, friends. I'm out of here. Peace.